necessary, compulsory, unavoidable. Call it whatever you want to call it, but there are certain generals in this game whose covenant you must do. And we're going to go through them here. Hi, and welcome to Red Evony. I am Akayasha. You can call me Aka. Alrighty. Now, some of you might think that, covenants are easy. Okay? You might think that it's just a simple matter of getting the general, making sure that you have the 3 required generals for the covenant in your general list, and then just pressing establish covenant until you get to the very end, and that's all you need to do. Well, yeah, you are right, but the main issue is which general are you doing the covenant on? Now, I'm pretty sure a lot of you know this, but for anyone that doesn't, there are 2 types of covenant skills. As we can see here, the one with the gray icon means that you need to be using that general for that skill to be applied. If you don't use the general, that skill will not be applied. Then there's the second one, which has the gold icon. And for this one, once you've done the covenant, that skill will be applied in all situations. You do not need to be using the general for that skill to be applied. So, based on the gold skill that the general has in their covenant, that's what we use to determine which general's covenants you must do. Okay, so it's a pretty simple and straightforward kind of thing. Now, of course, for you to do this covenant for not just your main PvP generals, but other generals that you won't be using so that you can get the extra buffs, is going to require a lot of covenant stones. And of course, Evony already has a pack for you to do just that. Okay? So, you can get as much covenant stones as you're willing to spend for. However, that doesn't mean that you need to go out and sell a kidney. Okay? You can stash this up over time and take it one general at a time. But this is an important thing for you to do because it's easy buffs. Okay, it's literally easy buffs. All you need to do the covenant and you have the buffs. So there's a lot of incentive there. All right, enough of that. Let's look at the generals whose covenants I consider are must-do covenants. And the first general that we're going to be looking at here is John Hunyadi. And if we go to his covenant, okay, these are the generals that are required for his covenant. Pretty straightforward. Now, if we look at his skills, the gold skill, the first one is Holy Palace Deserter Capacity. Okay, this one is not great, but it could be helpful in certain situations. If we look at the second gold one, Enemy Range Troop and Siege Machine HP minus 8%. You want that, okay? You want that. You need that. Range HP and Siege HP in particular are hard to debuff. And this is an easy 8% just sitting for you right there. What's the problem? You need to do this. Okay, so that's Hunyadi. The second general that we're going to look at. Sorry to interrupt you guys, but I've got a bit of an announcement. On Sunday, the 22nd of September, I'll be hosting my first ever community Discord event. The event will be open for everyone, and the main topic of discussion in the event is the problems and challenges that we face with PvP. During the event, I'll talk a bit about this, and then I'll have discussions directly with you guys about the problems and challenges that you face during PvP. So, fingers crossed, it should be an insightful and fun event. If that sounds interesting to you and you'd like to be part of it, there is a link in the description of this video for you to sign up for the event. Think of it like a kind of RSVP, okay? It would be very helpful with the planning of the event if we had an idea of how many people are interested in showing up. So please, Take the time and register for the event. Now, the link will expire at the end of Thursday. And after you've completed registering, you'll get the joining details for the event. Okay, thank you very much, guys. Now, back to the video. The second general that we're going to look at is Totila. Okay, Totila, ground general. Okay, let's look at his covenant. So, these are the generals that he needs for his covenant. Not too difficult, I would say. So, decent selection. If we look at his skill, the first one that he has there is ground troop training speed, which is pretty much crap. So we leave that one. But then the next one, enemy range troop attack minus 10%. Do you want that? You don't need it? You don't want it? Minus 10% range attack debuff? Okay. All right. Anyway, that's Totila. Get that covenant done. Now, the next general that we're going to look at, Hestia, the calf goddess, has one of the covenants that we absolutely need to get done. Right? These are the generals that she needs for her covenant. Okay, that's fine. Flavius might be a bit difficult to get. However, if you can get your hands on this mayor optional chest, which is available through the lucky jackpot right now, you could get Flavius in here. So he's a lot easier to get now than he used to be before. So we look at Hestia's covenant. The first gold skill is mounted troop training speed, 5%, which is, you can ignore that. But then the next one, in rally mounted troop attack, 10%. You want that. Okay? That's a 10% for all your mounted rallies. All right? I haven't tested this fully. I know it 100% works for PvP, but I need to test it to be 100% sure that it works for killing monsters as well. My assumption is that it does. So, you would definitely want to get this covenant done. Now, in almost the same line, the next general that we're going to look at is Washington Prime. Now, Washington Prime has been a sensational addition to Evony, and as you'd expect, his covenant needs to be done. Okay, if you're not using him. Right now, I'm not using Washington Prime, but I actually do have his covenant done. Okay, if we come out here for a second, right, I'll come to my general list and I'll scroll down real quick just so you guys can see that, I'm trying to practice what I preach. So this is my Hestia. She's my assistant general for calves. And if we go to our covenant, you can see I have the covenant fully done. So I actually use Hestia on a regular basis. Now, if we come out and I try to look for my Washington Prime, here he is. You can see there, tap on covenant, and you can see that I've done his covenant up to the 4th one. So, for most of these generals, you don't need to go beyond the 4th covenant. Okay, you only do that for generals that you are actively using. But for these ones that you just want to get the boss from, you can stop at the 4th covenant. That's perfectly fine. So, while we're here, if we look at his first gold skill, you can see his mounted troop training capacity, which is not needed. We ignore that. But then look at the next one. Mounted troop attack plus 10%. Okay? You want that. And if you look at it, this is a vanilla stat. So this one will apply in every situation. Marching, attacking, defending, in rally, reinforcing, whatever you want to think of. This 10% will apply. So between Hestia and Washington Prime, if you do both of their covenants like I've done, and you're in an alliance that runs rallies a lot of the time, that's an easy 20% mounted attack just sitting for you right there. So, get those done. Right, now the next general that we want to look at is Gunther. Okay, Gunther is another new sensation in Evony. Despite the fact that newer generals have come out since his release, I still think he's the best attacking siege general in the game. And as you'd expect, his covenant is one that you need to do. So, if we look at it, these are the generals that are required for his covenant. Okay, we have a big problem here in the fact that Melisande is one of those generals, and Melisande is as difficult to get as finding a 4-leaf clover in a desert sandstorm. Possible, but still. All right, so if we look at Gunther's first gold stat, siege machine training speed. Okay, we ignore that. Then we look at the second one, in rally troop HP, plus 10%. Okay, notice in rally troop, not siege, troop, meaning that this applies for all troops once they're in a rally. Siege, mounted, range, ground, plus 10% HP. You need this. You need to get this done. So that's Gunther. The next general that we want to look at on this list is Ragnar. Okay? Ragnar, one of the latest Vikings added to the game. He's a very good general. I believe he's the best range general in the game right now. And yeah, his covenant is definitely needed. So if we look at it, here are the generals required for his covenant. Problem here is that Sigurd, just like Melisande, extremely difficult to get. If you have them, that's great for you. If you don't, there might be some compromises needed. But that's a topic for another video. So if we look at his covenant, we look at the first gold skill, range troop training capacity. Not needed. We can forget that one. Then we look at the second one, in rally range troop attack, plus 10%. That's great. Okay, Ragnar is a range general, so he needs this skill as well. But if Ragnar is not your main range general, this stat will apply for whichever general you're using. So you should get it done if you can. It's an easy 10% range attack just waiting for you there. Now, at the time of recording this video, this is the list of must-do generals that we have in the game right now. But as we know, and as I've said before, Evony flips out the generals like they're flipping burgers. So we can expect that we will get more generals with more must-do covenants later on. Now, the whole point of going through these covenants is, to get buffs, okay? That's the whole point behind everything. And these are easy buffs that are just being left on the table. But those are not the only easy buffs that you might have lying around, okay? Another place for you to get decent buffs that are lying around is in the Senate, all right? There are quite a few buffs that are available here, and some people have a certain fear or aversion of the Senate because they feel that you need a lot of blood of Ares to get buffs from the Senate, which is actually not the case. And if you watch this video here, it gives you a detailed breakdown of the Senate and highlights all the places you can get buffs without ascension. So be sure to check it out. That's it for me, guys. Thank you very much. Aka signing out.